All right, let's look at a scenario for a 60-year-old couple with $1.5 million in retirement savings and retirement investments, asking the question, can I retire? Their main concerns are inflation, sequence of return risk, and guaranteeing their income that will last throughout their retirement. They have longevity in their family, and they want to make sure if they're in their 90s, they still have retirement income. So that's everything we're going to look at today here on the Your Financial EKG YouTube channel. My name is Drew Blackston. I'm a certified retirement counselor, investment advisor representative, and I am your virtual financial advisor, helping you get to retirement, helping you get through retirement, and protecting your ability to stay in retirement. We're going to look at a little different strategy today because this client is very risk averse and they are very concerned about running out of income in retirement. So I want to show you a strategy that we used for this couple to guarantee their income and to give them confidence in retirement. All right, so let's look at this. We've got a 60-year-old couple. They're both 59 now, but they'll be 60 very soon. By the time they retire, they will be 60 years old, and they live in Florida, the great state of Florida, where there are no state income taxes. Now, in assets, they have $100,000 in the bank. They've got $25,000 in a taxable brokerage account, and they've got $1.4 million in a 401k. Now, I've already talked to them about repurposing some of this bank account money into their brokerage account. We're actually going to do a flip-flop on this. We're going to leave $25,000 in the bank, and we're going to put $100,000 into their taxable brokerage account. The reason for this is they are heavy in their 401k. They've got a lot of pre-tax money. So when they go to take income off of their retirement investments, all of that money is going to be taxable. Now, we don't have a state income tax here in Florida, but there are federal taxes. And so we've got to think about federal taxes, and we've got to think about IRMA taxes, which is Medicare taxes, especially when they're both over the age of 72 and they're having to withdraw a required minimum distribution. I don't want to see their Medicare premiums go up because of having to take a forced withdrawal. So that's something we want to look at. And we want to give them a little bit more money they can pull from if needed that's not going to be taxable, okay? Now, we're going to look at some bucket planning, and we're going to do this using annuity ladders. Now, the reason we're going to use annuity ladders and bucket planning are because their main concerns are sequence of return risk, income lasting for the rest of their life, and inflation. Now let's think about their concerns for a second. What is sequence of return risk? Sequence of return risk is simply the risk that when you retire within that first 12 months, the stock market has a down year and multiple down years. Think the year 2000. So the year 2000 to 2001, 2001 to 2002, and 2002 to 2003 were all down years for the stock market. So if you retired in 1999, you thought the world was great, right? We just came through the raging 90s. It was awesome, but then you had 3 down years. And so your retirement was really set back, really kind of exploded because of those first 3 years in the year 2000. That's sequence of return risk, and this couple wants to protect against that because they don't want to see their retirement savings eroded because of market fluctuations or market upheaval. The second concern of theirs is income. They don't have any pensions. The only pension they're going to get is Social Security, and that's going to come at 67. And so they want to make sure that their income is going to last forever. Now, they are very risk averse, meaning they are scared of the stock market. And so understanding that, they want to make sure that the income that they're getting from the stock market is going to last forever. So we've got to do some planning around that. Remember, everybody's approach is individualized. Yours is going to be different from mine, which is different from my dad's, which is different from my grandma, which is different from your neighbor, which is different from the guy working at your bank. Everybody's retirement's different, and so they are very risk averse and very concerned about income. I bet you are too. Now, inflation is another concern of theirs. Obviously, we've got higher inflation. If you're watching this, I'm recording this in the year 2022. Inflation is a big concern of theirs. And so those two go hand in hand, inflation and income. So we've got to work on a plan, one, to guarantee some income and some safety within their retirement investments account, but also something to account for inflation, especially if inflation runs at 4, 5, or 6%. early in their retirement. Now, the 108-year average for inflation is 3.24%. Now, that's the 1970s included, the 1990s, the 1920s, the 60s, the 30s. It's the last 108 years. We will probably revert to that mean over the next 30 years of their retirement. So we're really looking at inflation just like sequence of return risk. We're looking at it early on in their retirement and protecting against that. Now, new data suggests that as retirees walk into retirement, they're going to spend about 1.8% less per year, just kind of automatically. And so we've got to work those two figures in with inflation and with their spending. Now, their current expenses are $60,000 a year. Now, those are low. They live in a low cost of living area of Florida, and they don't have any debts. There's no outstanding obligations. Their kids are gone. They don't have any grandkids yet, so that $60,000 is not $80,000 because they're spending $20,000 spoiling their grandkids. So we don't have as much expenses to worry about as they retire either. So we're going to use two strategies. The first strategy is going to be bucket planning, and the second strategy is annuity laddering, and we're going to use those together. Now, what is bucket planning in retirement? Bucket planning is simply segregating your investments into different vehicles and then using those vehicles as buckets for your income. Think about it like turning on different water spigots. Maybe you turn on this spigot and you're getting a certain amount of income here. And then maybe 5, 7 years later, you turn on a new spigot of water and now you're getting income from here. Now, a lot of times when you think bucket planning, you drain one bucket and then you start another bucket. We're not going to do that when it comes to retirement income today. We're actually going to use all the buckets together. We're just going to start them at different times throughout their retirement. I'll show you that here in just a second. Now, we're going to use an annuity ladder with bucket planning. Now, an annuity ladder is simply using annuities as the income sources within the buckets. We're going to have a couple different buckets, and I'm going to show you those here in just a second. We're going to have a stock market bucket. We're going to have the cash bucket, which is their bank, and we're going to have 2 annuity buckets. Now, these annuities are indexed annuities. There are no fees and there's no market risk. The maximum growth on these annuities is going to be somewhere between 4 to 6%. I always tell people to bank on 4%. They are risk averse. They're not concerned about necessarily growing their investments. They want to preserve them. So these are investments that we can use for them because it fits them. Remember, investments, whether it's a mutual fund, a stock, an annuity, a bond, a portfolio, whatever, has to fit the individual. And as a fiduciary, I'm going to recommend investments that best fit your needs. And so for them, this is what best fits their needs. All right, so let's get into the strategy. You ready? Let's do it. All right, we have a 60-year-old couple asking the question, can I retire at 60 with $1.5 million? And I'm going to show you this, and we're going to use a different strategy than we sometimes use because these individuals are very risk averse, very concerned about running out of retirement income, and so we need to protect their retirement investments and guarantee some of their retirement income over and above just their Social Security check. Now, we're only going to look at one of the earners' Social Security for this strategy. They are not married, so we have a non-married couple living together. Now, their assets are pooled in some instances, in some instances they are not. So this is mainly the higher earner's assets. And so don't get confused when I say couple and I only show you one Social Security. Now, here's what we've got. We have 3 buckets. We're looking at the bucket strategy because they are very concerned about 1, the stock market. They don't want to lose any more money. And 2, they don't want to run out of retirement income. So what we're going to do is we're going to put buckets in place to have certain amounts of income turn on when those years get here. So we're going to turn on one spigot right away. We're going to wait about 7 years, turn on another spigot. Then we're going to wait about another 10 years and turn on another spigot. Okay? So the first bucket is going to stay in the stock market. Now, out of the $1.4 million this person has in their 401k, 800 of that is going to go into bucket number 1. So we've got $800,000 in bucket number 1. This is going to be a stock market investment. So we can invest in mutual funds, stocks, ETFs, fixed income, municipal bonds, treasuries, whatever. We can invest in anything, and it's 100% liquid. So if you need the money right away, it can be there in your account, okay? So we've got $800,000. Now, their annual expenses are $60,000 a year. They don't have any debt or any outside obligations, okay? $5,000 a month is what we need in retirement income. Now, we're going to get 6% rate of return on our money. We're going to do this for 7 years until we get to the higher earner, Social Security. So $800,000, taking out $5,000 a year, earning 6% for 7 years, takes this first bucket of money from $800,000 down to $695,926 at 67. Now, at 67, that's when Social Security is going to kick on. We're waiting to 67 for the higher earner because we want to get 100% of their full retirement benefit. Now, remember, with Social Security, if you take it at 62, you only get 70% of your full retirement benefit. If you take it any time between 62 and 67, you're not going to get your full benefit. If you take it at 67, you get 100% of your full retirement benefit. If you take it at 70, you'll get 124% of your full retirement benefit. Now, you can take it any time between 62 and 70. It doesn't make sense to take it beyond 70. So anytime between 62 and 70, you can take your Social Security. For this strategy, we're going to wait and take it at 67. So at 67, our $5,000 in expenses has grown to $6,149 because of inflation. Remember, we're going to use a 3% rate of return, a 3% inflation rate because that's the 108-year average. Now, $6,149. We've got $2,900 in Social Security kicking on, and that leaves us with $3,249 in retirement income that is needed from our retirement investments. Start bucket number 2. So, bucket number 1 has paid out for 7 years. We need to give some relief to bucket number 1 because it's paying out way too much money to sustain itself over the long term. So we have 2 other buckets. Now remember, these people are very risk averse. So we took $600,000, which was what was left in the 401k. So we had $800 stay in the market. We took $600,000, we put them into indexed annuities. Now, both of these annuities do not have any fees, and the maximum growth you're going to get is probably somewhere between 4 and 5%. If you get more than that in an indexed annuity, we're going to high five and chest bump, but let's just say you get 4%. That's a very conservative number. Now, on these 2 annuities, there's a 4% guarantee on the income rider. Basically, what that means is in a certain year, the annuity or the insurance company says, hey, you can start taking income out of the annuity guaranteed for the rest of your life based on your age. And that's exactly what we're going to do in this scenario. So at 67, we have $3,249 in retirement income that is needed. We're going to take $1,600 of that out of this market money. We're going to give this a breather. We're only going to take $1,600 a month. And over here, we're going to guarantee from the annuity another $1,644, and this is going to pay out for life. So that's never going to change. It's never going to go up, but it's never going to go down, but it's never going to run out. So even if we pay out all of this $394,000, if it goes to zero, we pay it all out, the insurance company is still going to pay out the $1,644. That is what we're doing for the income. Remember, one of his main concerns is income, making sure it lasts forever. And so now we've guaranteed at least a portion of it along with Social Security. Now at 77, so our first bucket at $695 is going to pay out $1,600. It's still going to earn 6% a year. That's just kind of our calculation. We're going to do this for 10 years. Our $695 now grows to $1,003,139 at 77. Well, because of inflation, we've let bucket 3 sit now for 17 years, and now this annuity will guarantee $2,434 every month for the rest of their life. So now we have 2 guaranteed streams of income, along with Social Security that's guaranteed backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government, and we still got $1 million in the market. So sequence of return risk we've taken care of with these buckets here. The running out of income we've taken care of here, And with this money, now remember there was a bucket 4 that we mentioned at the beginning of this video. Bucket 4 we put $100,000 into. We repurposed some of his bank money, and if we earn 6% for 17 years, that's an extra $272,000, right? 272, yeah, $272,000. So along with this million, along with these guaranteed assets here, we got another $272,000 of a taxable brokerage account that he can get to at any time. So we've taken care of the concerns that this client has had. So when he asks the question, can I retire at 60, protect a portion of my money, protect my income, and make sure that I'm never going to run out, I can say, based on some pretty low assumptions, 4%, 6% rates of return, yeah, we can do that. So yes, you can retire. Hey, thank you so much for watching. God bless. Bye-bye.